In this video today, I'm gonna actually do another studio comparison. I did a video talking about Pixar versus DreamWorks, but today I'm actually going to do a comparison between Illumination and Blue Sky Studios. First of all, we look at highest Rotten Tomatoes score for each studio. In the case of Illumination, their highest score would be an 87% for the Peanuts movie, with no, actually, that's for Blue Sky Studios. I bad. With Illumination, highest score is an 80% for the first Despicable Me. So Blue Sky Studios wins this round. Then when you look at the lowest score for each franchise, in the case of Blue Sky Studios, lowest score is an 18% for Ice Age Collision Course. Not at all a good score. That's pretty low. And then in the case of Illumination, lowest score would be a 24% for Hop. So Illumination is going to win this round. Then when we look at the average score, you got a 61.2 for Blue Sky Studios and 62.5 for Illumination. So Illumination's going to win this round. Thus, Illumination is ahead right now, 2-1. Then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, in the case of Illumination, highest score is 80, lowest score is 24, gap of 56. When you look at Blue Sky Studios, highest score 87, lowest score is 18, so there's a gap of 69 between those two. So Illumination's going to win this round. Thus, Illumination is ahead right now, 3-1. Now let's look at my personal opinion. When it comes to the studio Illumination, there's definitely not as much variety here if you think about it, because they've only done 13 movies, and 6 of them are either Despicable Me or Minions. That's about half of Illumination's filmography, and out of those movies, I definitely like the first Despicable Me because it both has moments of humor and a solid emotional core. Out of Despicable Me 2 and 3, I like Despicable Me 3 more because it introduces Gru's brother, and that actually tempts Gru back into that life of crime. That does a better job of getting back to the whole initial premise for this franchise. I haven't seen Despicable Me 4. It doesn't interest me. I definitely am not ever going to watch that Minions movie, because having a whole movie of the Minions is the equivalent of eating a spoonful of salt or a spoonful of pepper, which you don't do. I like Minions, Rise of Gru. Looking at the other movies Illumination has done, you have Hop. That was their second movie that is about this Easter bunny who has a son. This kid doesn't really want to be the next Easter bunny. He's really interested in music. His dad doesn't understand. This bunny goes out into the world. He meets this guy, played by James Marsden, who has never really had success. He's never really found what he's good at. His family's concerned about that, but his sister helps him out. And so he's at this big house, and then he meets this bunny, and then the two of them try to each figure out how to do what they're good at, which ultimately is what happens with the human actually becoming the new Easter bunny. And I will say that the Easter lore here, it does feel derivative of Christmas, especially when you literally have a sleigh. But overall, I actually like the movie. And then when it comes to Lorax, this is not one I'm a fan of, because it's taking this story from Dr. Seuss that was initially subtle in its messaging and just making the message way too obvious in the case of the movie. That's not something I'm a fan of. When I feel like the filmmakers don't trust the audience to understand the message they're trying to get across, when the filmmakers think the audience is too stupid to understand what they're trying to say, so they just have to make it super obvious. They just have to hold the audience's hand. And actually, I think the message becomes contradictory, considering that the movie's supposed to be about preserving nature, saving the trees, but yet there's only one song in the movie about saving trees. And then you got Secret Life of Pets. I talked about this franchise in one of my videos. I like Secret Life of Pets 2 more than the first film. I like both same movies. They're fun, entertaining. In the case of The Grinch, I actually enjoy this one. I think that it's fun. Sure, when you have the moments where there's dancing and singing, is that the best thing to include in an adaptation of a Dr. Seuss story that doesn't have those kind of things? No, not really, but I don't dislike that movie. And then you have the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I saw in theaters. I really enjoyed it. For some reason, it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes with only 59%. Admittedly, that means, yeah, it is almost fresh, actually, so I guess it's not too bad. But, I don't know, critics really don't like the movie. I don't get it. It feels to me like critics just went into the movie thinking, oh, hopefully it'll be complicated, hopefully it'll have in-depth characters. And then when they saw, oh, the movie's simple, the characters are not complex, they thought, well, that makes the movie bad. I don't agree with that kind of thinking at all. I mean, not every movie that comes out needs to have a complex story. Not every movie that comes out needs to have complex characters. In the case of the Super Mario Brothers movie, I think this movie accomplishes what it's trying to accomplish. It's trying to be fun, entertaining, and deliver the experience that fans of Mario want. It succeeds at that, so I think it should be fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I think this is a case of critics totally failing to understand what the movie was trying to do. And then you got Migration, which I saw in theaters. I definitely enjoyed it. And then Despicable Me 4 is the latest movie from Illumination. I haven't seen that one. In the case of Blue Sky Studios, I like the first three Ice Age movies. Then you have Robots, which I'm definitely a fan of. And then Dr. Horton Hears a Horton Hears a Who, which I really enjoy. I think that's one of the better Dr. Seuss adaptations. And then I like both the real movies. You also have Epic, which I really enjoy. It's an interesting story about this civilization of little people and these humans that end up figuring out that these little people actually exist. Then I thought the Peanuts movie was a really good version of Charlie Brown. Did a really good job of handling the characters. I liked the way it looked. It felt faithful to Charlie Brown. Then you had Ferdinand Spies in Disguise, which were the last two movies put out by Blue Sky Studios. I enjoy both of them. Ferdinand's telling the story about this bull. In the case of Spies in Disguise, you have Will Smith, who's playing this awesome spy, kind of like James Bond. But then because of this Tom Holland guy, he ends up inadvertently getting turned into a bird. And then the movie's about Tom Holland's character finding his confidence. We see that he's very technically smart, but he's been overlooked by other spies. And then by the end of the movie, he actually is regarded as important by other members of the organization. So when it comes to which studios put out more movies that I enjoy, frankly, I would say that Blue Sky Studios has put out more movies that I enjoy. I mean, I don't like the last two Ice Age movies. I thought Adventures of Buck Wild was just a cheap direct-to-streaming movie that was put on there for the sake of additional content on Disney Plus. But I like all the other Blue Sky movies, and for the most part, except for Ice Age Collision Course, I actually have rewatched them recently. There's more films Illumination has put out, which I either haven't rewatched anytime recently or just outright haven't seen. So I would actually give the point to Blue Sky Studios, though Illumination actually won 3 points, so they are going to win this debate. That'll be it for now.